Dear ones, may I invite you to walking a few steps together on a beautiful path alongside the one we love and who has gone home this summer. During his last weeks, he was sharing the gratefulness he felt for each of you, and he wished to let you know. As an expression of my gratitude for Krzysiek's care, I have used All Souls Day this week to do so. I think he was one of those people who dedicate themselves to tasks so self-forgetfully that they cannot see their own value. They need to hear from us what they mean to us. So when he saw me struggling, lending a hand was a matter of course to him, but each time I thanked, he did not understand what for. He spoke about himself in scathing words. I tried to understand why. But also the box of the family photos was filled, but with an abundance of confirmations of the caring person he was. The readiness of these skillful hands wherever help was needed, and which, nevertheless, modestly held back themselves in order to encourage. You can do that. You manage. You get it. Hands that do not rest even after work at the end of the day. Wherever I looked, he was giving himself away to the needs of the moment, devoted to the task. Undivided and self-forgetful, one with what needs to be done. These eyes open, trusting, thoughtful, coupled with an irresistible sense of humor, and with this wise and unmistakable understanding which these conciliatorily twinkling eyes could convey, whose grateful radiance was simply contagious. And yes, his seriousness, foresight, effectiveness, I could confirm that too, as well as the beauty of true inherency, straight, genuine, authentic. Yet even in the moment of a clear refusal, these traits show but an inseparable love and the will to help. An amazing unity of clearest decision and warmest understanding, united as one. What a gentle line of eyelids that embraced so lovingly what these eyes have seen. I was so happy to be able to put all that in a row in order to show him the truth, instead of idly listening to how he was putting himself down. But when he entered the room, the mere look at them seemed to cut so sharply into his flesh that I had to cover them instantly. How could it be that the own image was unbearable to him like pepper and salt in gaping wounds, and forced him to turn away like struck by lightning? There is no culprit. For thousands of years, we lived in life-threatening danger. Every cracking of a branch in the distance could announce our death. Days consisted of tough survival strategies. People did but their best by handing down toughness for millennia, from one generation to the next. What was Christofer handing down? What had enabled him to turn the tide? When speaking about people who used to be part of his life, there was no one for whom he did not express a deep understanding. Also for people who had hurt him, he was absolutely sure they had tried hard, the best they could. His genuine appreciation and heartfelt recognition he expressed for each person individually and specifically. It was spontaneous, deeply felt and sincere when he praised, for example, the delicious meals his father cooked. and when he admired his mother's worries and care during his teens, when he spoke amazed about all his wife has done for the son's education, and when he was deeply touched by the wholehearted readiness and support from his brothers, and he actually bitterly wept as it was not possible for him to go and to see his son, grandson, and daughter-in-law again. He would have loved so much to share with all of you his sincerest feelings. So I used All Souls Day to do so, in hope to contribute to a vivid remembrance of Krzysiek among the ones he loved. Love like waves of song, like the breathing lung, like the beating heart, like the flowing song. We have to tell these self-forgetful people what we appreciate them for. 20 years ago, I stood with these words at my father's deathbed, whose patients were allowed to ask for his help even on Sunday afternoons by climbing over our garden fence, and the number of which simply doubled the top statistics of the country, as he used to put help before bills. That day my mother stood next to me and quietly added, "And there he had a wife who for a lifetime missed to tell him." I'm still touched to tears when thinking of this confession in this hour from her lips, since that day I know it's never too late, not even after the last hour. The door is not so not sore anymore. What if we're just at the shore in order to meet on another floor? Dear Christofer, I didn't realize the agony of these fist-sized swellings unknown to medicine so far, and which are now described as unbearably painful, even when treated with opioids. How was it possible for you to make our last moments together the most beautiful, the most serene, and the warmest farewell ever? When I found you on the kitchen floor like a cut-down tree, your hand cramped on your heart, the flat was tidy, everything washed and hung up to dry. How were you able to do all this so quietly for months under such pain? You suffered so much, and said nothing. You were so radiant, so full of love. May God give you wings. May God give you wings. Spread your wings so wide and bright and take a flight. Spread your wings so wide and bright, you'll be alright. Spread your wings so wide and bright and take a flight. Spread your wings so wide and bright, you'll be alright. Dive into the air and trust. Rise above the dust. With what you feel you must, just what you feel is just. Spread your wings so wide and bright, fly through the night. Spread your wings so wide and bright, towards the light. Spread your wings so wide and bright, fly through the night. Spread your wings so wide and bright, towards the light. Dive into the air and trust. Rise above the dust. With what you feel you must, just what you feel is just. Spread your wings so wide and bright and take a flight. Spread your wings so wide and bright, you'll be alright. Spread your wings so wide and bright and take a flight. Spread your wings so wide and bright, you'll be alright. Spread your wings so wide and bright and take
straight, the